You know, over the 5 years of this show, we have dealt with tons of education issues. Sleeping in class, cell phones in class, texting in class. We haven't covered senioritis. We could do that probably sometime in July. Disrespecting teachers, staff members. We've also focused in on homework. We also focused in on bullying in our schools. We've also talked about no running in the hallways. Those are just some of the examples we've been talking about. But for 5 years, one of the issues has really been standing out to me. That issue is the dress code. That's right. This dress code. There's a new dress code happening in Forney ISD. And we'll read the revised dress code the full revised dress code in just a minute. But the heat is facing all board members whether they want to change it or not. So let's take a look.
What? Agree with the new dress code rules.
Brooklyn Holloman wore a dress while speaking to the board of Forney ISD.
I'm here to talk and hopefully to change your mind.
Under the district's new dress code,
I think they're really unfair.
she can't wear this when she starts 10th grade later this year, nor does it promote professionalism in the district's eyes.
I'm wearing it to contradict what 40 is claiming.
That new dress code, the point of contention at Monday's board meeting.
This right here is not the problem in our schools.
Last week, the district announced no more clothing with hoods in schools, including hoodies, jackets, and coats with hoods. And this is the one hitting a nerve. No dresses, skirts, or skirts for 5th graders and up.
Do I need to really fill out a form and get permission from my girl to dress like, a girl?
The district's reasons for all this? Enhance school safety, bridge socioeconomic differences among
Yeah, with
students.
all these
I
mass
think professional
shootings.
dress code.
The district also says changes like this will even teach professionalism.
I think it's asinine, to be very frank.
Forney Mayor Pro Tem James Traylor struggles with that one. He has a daughter in the district, saying plenty of women in the professional realm wear dresses or skirts every day.
I think it's putting a huge limit on students and children in this district to be able to express themselves.
Parents like Christian Reed also pointing out that now they're burdened with buying a whole new school wardrobe.
A set of clothes for school and then a set of clothes for everyday life when most school districts aren't even doing that.
Yet despite passionate pleas from parents, the school board didn't even address the elephant in the room. And at this point, a district spokesperson says the new dress code moving forward. But board members do have time before school begins to put the new dress code on the agenda, to repeal it, even amend it.
I really ask that you guys would reconsider.
Judging by what we heard,
I think it needs to change.
many want them to. In Forney, I'm Matt Howerton.
And let's look at that revised dress code. The acceptable ones for shirts through outerwear, solid color skin. The style could be knit, button, or snap holder. Dress style button only shirts, blouses with long or short sleeves, turtlenecks. It must be worn to be solid color. Shoulders and sleeves length must be worn. Acceptable shirts, turtlenecks. Unacceptable would be sleeveless, thermal type shirts, t-shirts, zippered shirts or blouses, hooded sweatshirts or outwear, hats, caps, bandanas. I mean, band hats and caps and hoods. I mean, they have jackets with hoods. How to not wear it? But no, they had to just go the other way. Leather suede. How is leather not a distraction to the educational process? The acceptable for slacks, shorts, khaki, navy blue, black, pleated front casual slacks, no more than 3 inches above the knee. Logo labels no more than 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 to 1/2 inches. Sit at the bottom of slacks must finish edges no longer than 3 inches. Short pant or clip pant. The acceptable ones are skirts, shorts, jumblings no more than 3 inches at the top. Skirts, shorts, and jumpers with a kick pleat. That's the acceptable. The unacceptable is holes in clothing, baggy style leg slacks, overall pants, overall shorts, overall jumpers, and overalls, leather suede. That's unacceptable. This is unacceptable. And the shoes, like hose, tights, leggings, Single colors must be worn under shorts and skirts for pre-K through 4th. Shoes must be matching pair, and shoelaces must be matching pair. Tie and finger belts, stripes, checks, wording, or design, and for hair, clothing no longer one size of the student's measurements, no the garment too tight. Hats, caps, bandanas are other non-religious coverings are not worn inside the building. The hair rollers are prohibited. Jewelry, excessive makeup and or jewelry are prohibited. Chains are prohibited. Lead school officials reasonably believe that such dress room would interfere, disrupt for school activities, or create a hazard to the student's own health or safety or health safety of others. Students are expected to dress and groom themselves. They'll keep themselves nicely groomed and dressed. Will keep their hair neat and clean, grooming the dress that will disturb, interfere, or detract from school activities will not be allowed. Neatly groomed dress shall be defined as dress and grooming that is standard and conforms to local community and school district adequate decorum. It is within these principles that FISD will enforce the following dress code items specifically, and not limited to like shirts, blouses, slacks, head footwear. It's like this. Now they've crossed the line, and changes have to be made. And I hope these changes are made. We'll keep you posted on what's been happening. Coming up next, more on Uvalde. It has been 1 month, and there is new developments happening. So stay with us. Up front tonight, there is more developments in Uvalde. Now, just a couple days ago, or just yesterday, or Saturday, President Biden signs a gun safety bill that's following those mass shootings. It would require that people under age 21 should have background checks and have over $750,000 for programs for the schools. But let's hear what the former Secret Service member has to say about the police response during that shooting.
Switch to Liberty Mutual and save $652.
Hello.
Excuse me.
Do yourself.
So throughout the month, I've been giving you guys the very latest.
Mentioned earlier, there are several investigations into the police response to the Uvalde school shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers.
Joining us now to talk about recent developments is Matthew Doherty. He's the Managing Director of Workforce Risk Management at Sikich and a former Secret Service member. Matthew, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yesterday, the head of Texas State Police in a hearing said the response to the Uvalde school shooting was an abject failure. Reports that there were no keys, but the door was really unlocked and they didn't really need a key, things like that. What on earth went wrong there? And I know you can't say specifically, but just from the overview of what you're seeing, where was the disconnect?
I'm just astounded at the response coming out from the media and from the head of the Department of Public Safety. Since Columbine, you don't wait for hostage negotiation. You don't wait for tactical resources. Every police officer in America is trained that first to arrive on the scene is the first to go in, because the active shooter, active assailant phenomenon, the ultimate goal is to kill as many people as you can in the shortest amount of time. Every rookie class in this country has been told over and over again, if you're the first to arrive on the scene and you're not willing to go into that scene, then you're in the wrong line of work.
Sounds like you think that was the biggest shortcoming. The biggest failure was not going in right away. Were there other things that you think they could have done to make this much less of a tragedy than it turned out to be?
Absolutely. If the media accounts are true, that school system that had a school district police department, there was only a handful of schools. There was kindergarten through second, third through fifth. So if you were in that school system, you went to one school. The notion that you're looking for keys to an unlocked door and that you have to even look for keys. A best practice, every school should have what's known in law enforcement as a go bag, where you grab a bag that is in close proximity and there's keys. To wait up to an hour until Customs and Border Protection could come in and not rely on your local police department is just astounding to me.
But Matthew, even without keys, couldn't they have used a Halligan or something, or just stormed the door?
Absolutely. And you have to do whatever you take because lives are in danger on this active shooting phenomena. This is not a hostage negotiation team. And there also, you should have an incident command. Usually it's the highest ranking person that arrives on the scene within minutes that is in charge. And they are trained in the incident management system that is standard throughout the country. But back to your question, yeah, absolutely. That should not have stopped them. And if the media accounts are true, the door was unlocked in the first place. So why wait for keys?
Well, they did suspend the commander. Do you think he should be fired?
I hate to say that since I spent my whole career in law enforcement. If the facts are borne out to be true, he certainly was not qualified to be in this position.
Given what we do know about this, what are the specific things that you hope will change, that will come out of this this terrible situation to make it better for the next school shooter who targets a school?
Every school shooting that takes place, or even targeted violence, where a known or knowable assailant selects their target prior to the attack, you can be certain that there'll be an after-action report each and every time these occur. We always want to know the motive and what exactly happened. There are lessons learned after each one of these, and I know it's little consolence to the family, but they should not die in vain, and that there should be lessons learned out of this, and certainly instantaneous access to the school. It should not have taken an hour to disable that shooter.
Sounds like you're saying this could have been avoided for sure.
Yes, by all accounts, that absolutely.
All right, thank you, sir. Matthew Doherty with Sikich and a former Secret Service member. Appreciate your service. Be safe, be well.
Thank you so much.
But lots of things have happened New laws have been coming in. But there are surveys about safety. 1,000 educators weighed in on recently how they felt about school safety. Lots of things have happened. Funding for federal law to help keep school districts from combating gun violence. This is happening in Florida. In Florida, there's gonna be funding from a law. Now, if this law were to pass, I think a lot of other
doesn't do everything I want. It does include actions I've long called for that are going to save lives.
At the moment, President Biden signed the first major federal gun safety legislation in decades. It comes in the wake of a deadly mass shooting in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas. Taking a look at the numbers right now from the Gun Violence Archive, as of today, there have been a total of 21,406 gun violence deaths and 293 mass shootings in America. The school shooting in Texas is one of the biggest reasons lawmakers worked to pass that new legislation.
And with that being said, there's a big focus on school safety. One of the biggest supports for local schools, the law increases money for mental health programs and school security. And today we talk with safety leaders at Leon County Schools about what the funding would mean for the district. Jason Riles is a safety analyst for LCS, and he says that money will go toward making sure staff is prepared to handle those crisis situations.
Money will help go in ways towards training and some of the state funding that they help cover some of those projects as well. Equipping the people that we're training better things, so be it de-escalation techniques and equipment to help with de-escalation, things of that nature.
Riles says the additional money will also help with mental first aid as well as crisis intervention training for the police officers.
That needs to happen, and that needs to happen for every school. With Flower Bluff's not doing crap. Now, I'm not throwing them under the bus, but there's an old saying that everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's true. But I have a feeling if I say what I have to say, then they're going to start throwing me in the ring. But what I have to say here is that Fly Bluff only cares about athletics, not about student safety. I mean, look, we recently had a shooting in Uvalde, but Fly Bluff's all like, let's just put in police. Let's not worry about security. Okay, now what about the Florida United States dress code? No hoods because of safety. I mean, when I was in school, I saw people wearing hoods. You know what? When we come back, I'm gonna take a break from it. I need to process this through. When we come back, reasons why hats are not allowed in school. Now for an update in Oxford, Michigan. As we reported on throughout this season, on November 30th, Ethan Crumley, then 15 years old, shot up Oxford High. His parents, James and Jennifer Crumley, have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. His son is charged with murder. If convicted, Ethan Crumley could spend the rest of his life in jail with no possibility of parole. Now there's new details into this. The parents say they want their case to be moved, to move the trial out of Oakland County. That was denied because of the judge's information. So, let's look at that. The prosecutor argued that they're trying to highlight his role instead of his parents. James and Jennifer are accused of making the gun available to his son, failing to care for him when he showed signs of mental distress, or being held on a bond of $500,000 bond. The revelation came during a discussion at the time of the trial for the parents. It was currently set for October, now may be pushed back to January. Ethan will be prosecuted as an adult in first-degree murder, assault with intent to murder, and other charges. The judge also denied the defense's motion to move the case out of Oakland County and ruled that some items cannot be used at trial, including Ethan's internet search history, his mother's alleged affair, the parents' drug and alcohol use, and a disturbing Instagram post that Ethan accused of making before the shooting. So, here's what we don't get. We know Ethan had some terrible posts. We know that James and Jennifer bought him the gun. We don't know about the drug and alcohol use. We don't know about the affair. I mean, if Jennifer had an affair and Ethan saw that, he would have confronted her right away. That's what the drug and alcohol use. If they would be willing to take a drug test from back then, if they would have taken a lie detector test to prove their innocence and say, have you been using drugs or alcohol before November 2021? And they said no, then boom, they lied. The mouth can lie, but the brain can't. Again, he was denied. This was on Monday. They requested to move the trial to a different county. The judge's full statement was this. In part, it said, the motion to charge of venue was denied. Prosecutors also submitted evidence into court Monday in connection with the shooting, but the evidence was largely public knowledge. Usually, the court tentatively plans to schedule Crumley's trial for October 24th. The defense attorney showed preference to a later trial date. Attorneys also said they intend to call Ethan Crumley to the stand during his parents' trial. They accused the parents of neglecting their son. Ethan Crumley is accused of opening fire on November 30th. But we'll keep you posted on the trial. And again, Ethan's trial is October 24th. We will keep you posted as it is. And Give Me a Break continues when we come back. With FISD's new dress code put in place, like we talked about earlier, no hats and hoods, the question is, why can't you wear a hat to school? There are some clips that have some knowledge into this. So let's take a look at a few from MML Productions. Hats in School.
Hats in School by A.J. Miller and Ryan Yax.
Reasons why I don't like hats in the building. Number one, it's a security issue. You can't see faces from the cameras if we need to check film footage.
Security issue. Okay, that's one.
Number two, traditionally, hats are not worn in public buildings. So when you walk into courthouses, when you walk into the police department, when you walk into a school, hats are removed just out of respect. It's a respect issue. And number three, they look sloppy, and I don't think we need to look sloppy.
A few reasons from the students.
Alright, so personally, first of all, my name is Justin Callahan, and personally my take on hats is I love wearing hats. I don't think it's that much of a distraction in school. In my opinion, we should be able to wear hats, so...
What's your opinion on wearing hats in school?
I think I should be able to wear my hat when other kids can.
Now the teachers' perspectives.
Do you support kids wearing hats in school?
I understand why the administration wants to limit this. I mean, it does look more professional not to wear a hat, and they also talk about safety concerns on cameras and things like that. But honestly, I feel like it's a battle that we are fighting that might not be always worth fighting. I don't think it's harmful to wear hats. I think there's a lot of other things that students are wearing that would be much more important for us to try to correct that.
No, I don't support hats in schools. They're disruptive to the educational process.
As you can see, there are mixed reviews on this very sensitive topic. Please leave your heartfelt opinion in the comments section below.
And on the season 6 premiere of Give Me a Break, which will be happening right after Labor Day. Question: I will be asking kids whether they think they should wear their hats in school. Now, keep in mind, for doing this, I respect the dress code rules at every school, from Fire Bluff, from the state of Texas, to every school district's dress code policy in every state, from Kentucky to Mississippi to Idaho, California, Florida, etc. Let's take a look at a 6-minute video. Now, this was sideways, so I'm going to describe it to you in about 5 or so minutes. So he's wearing his hat, and actually, you know what? I'm going to mute it for you to describe it to you. So, he was told to take off his hat, and he said, "Why?" And then he just ignored him. So, the principal walks in.
Yeah, I don't understand why we can't wear hats.
Because number one, it's a rule that we don't have hats in the building. There's no need for them. Number two, somebody could do this, and now it's mine. Now what are you gonna do? You're gonna chase it after me.
All right, but someone can also pants me, but I still wear pants.
No one's gonna throw that.
I've actually seen that happen before. But I don't mind taking off the hat if I have a reason to take off the hat. But it's just what I'm against is being forced to take off the hat. So I asked him if he had a good reason I should take off the hat. He said it's school rule, so I asked why it's school rule. No offense, but
let me show you. This is an example here. Okay, so this is the cowboy hat. Well, it's from a fan, actually. This is not covering up the face. This is, hats like this don't cover up the face. But if you're wearing sunglasses, that could cover up your eyes. You see what I'm saying here?
Why it's school rule. Now, you gave me a good reason. You said, well, what if someone comes and takes it off all of a sudden we have a big issue, right? Well, it's still my hat, though. That's still my problem if someone comes and takes it. If someone comes and steals my bag, well, it's still my choice because I have to wear a bag to go to school. Now, me wearing a hat, I would say, is my right as a human being to decide what I want to wear on my person, because at the end of the day, I own me and no one else owns me, you know? So I'm more than willing to take it off, but I just want a good reason why I should take it off.
What we call it is distraction through the learning environment.
Okay.
And when we say it's distraction through the learning environment, here's a great example. Oftentimes, just real quick.
Absolutely.
Sometimes kids will.
Down the eyes.
Yeah, I can see the problem with that.
This is how they wear the hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
can't see their eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes they might be sitting in class with,
All right.
with the low bro also.
Okay.
It's just, you know, we feel that we'd like to see our kids' eyes. We want to make sure, that's why we don't allow sunglasses in the building also. And that's perfect. That's good. You can keep them right there, boss. But not over your eyes. And if kids are wearing their hats too low, you can't see their eyes.
All right, so why can't it just be you can't wear a hat too low? Like I see people with hoodies on, but they don't put the hoods on over their eyes. So why? Okay, but why can't the rule be you can wear a hat as long as it doesn't cover your face?
Because then you start getting to the, well, what, you know, how low is it, you know? Because let's say Mr. Frick, who's taller than me, you know, if you have somebody who's short, I might be able to see your eyes, but then Mr. Frick, who's taller, can't. And now all of a sudden we're like, wait, I can't see your eyes. Well, Mr. Maxwell can. Well, I can't. Well, Mr. Maxwell can, but I can't.
All right.
And Mr. Rose, he'd be in the same situation. He's taller than me. I need to put your hat back. I don't want to put it back. It's like, you know what? We're not going to talk about this anymore. We're just going to have no hats in the building.
All right. Okay, but I guess I see what you're saying. I see what you're coming from. You're saying that's going to prevent you from enforcing policies in case someone decides to do something bad and cover up their face with it, right? I understand that. But I still don't see why it's as big of an issue as it is. Because you can clearly see my face. I was obviously not hiding anything. So then why then is it enforced so strictly?
Because when you start allowing exceptions to the rule or trying to determine what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, because what's appropriate for some is inappropriate for others. So for instance, girls with inappropriate dress. There might be some girls who walk around here and personally, I don't see when girls are wearing inappropriate things. But there are a lot of female teachers who think that's inappropriate. And so then we have to ask us, where do we get involved? And it could be 5th period, 6th period. This girl could be going through the building like almost the whole day. And she's like, man, he's got his hood up. Appreciate it. Let me talk to you. Can you give me a second? Okay. So, in order to avoid getting into this, you know, this is okay, but this isn't okay, but that's okay, but that's not okay, we just say, you know what, we're just going to have hats in the building. And I know, there's a few. I mean, for the most part, everybody's able to comply with the rule. I would say 99% of the students are able to comply. 1%, because if you think about 2,000 kids, 1% would be about 20. It might even be half of a percent. About maybe 10 kids are just hell-bent on wanting to wear a hat in the building. Thompson is one. There's this other young lady who is, she thinks, you know, are you going to wear a hat? We're not going to make a rule based on half of a percent of kids who want to wear a hat. It's just not going to happen. I mean, let's put it this way. If half a percent of the people in Iowa felt that the speed limit needs to be 90 miles per hour because it helps them or benefits them, that's not going to happen.
But do I still have the right to wear what I want to wear in my person? Because at the end of the day, it's still my
outside the building, not inside the building.
Okay, but what's the difference? Because I understand this was a private property. This is private property, but it's not. It's government property, right? Well, okay, and government property is paid for by the people, by taxpayers like my parents, and I'm sure you pay taxes too. So if technically the people, the citizens own this building, why can't we wear what we want to wear as long as it's within reason?
Because as an administrator, it's my responsibility to set rules and policies that govern this government space, because I am a government employee also. And it's my job to make sure, let's put it this way, I want to carry you down to the courthouse. It's a government building. I pay taxes. I'm going to carry my piece into the courthouse. Ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. So even though it's a government building, as a government employee, it's my job to set policies and rules that govern the space. And part of the rules that we have here is that we're not going to wear hats in the building.
Okay. But at the end of the day, though, it's not a gun, though, it's a hat.
At the end of the day, it's a rule, a policy.
All right. I understand what you're saying.
And now I hope you learned.
I feel like therapy used to be.
And now I hope you learn. And there's lots of other reasons. Like, you can hide drugs in that hat. You can hide guns, weapons. And that's why hats are prohibited in all schools, because think of it this way. Say this is a gun, and I want to hide it on my hat. Then I would put it on. And then someone comes up to me going, "What, you won't push me?" Like, boom, boom, boom. While wearing my hat, boom, 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 boom. Something like that. Like, why'd you have your hat why'd you have a gun under your hat? But still, that's why hats are prohibited in class. And I've been covering this throughout 5 years, giving you guys all the reasons. And that's why hats and hoods are prohibited in the classroom. That's why gloves are not allowed in class, in school. Because gang related. And on Wednesday, and coming up on Wednesday, we will talk about a rerun. No texting in class. Here's a sneak peek at a video. Here's a short preview of one clip from a video that I will be showing you. So here's a short clip. One of the videos I'm showing
Sydney,
you.
what are you doing?
Texting in class is against school policy. Cell phones should not be seen or heard. A teacher has a right to take it away. It will cost you $15 to get it back.
Don't miss that video and along with other videos from Nathan Melrose, No Texting in Class, from CVP's No Texting in Class, from PSA's, and from SCS 346 Bongo. From the internet vids to all these policies that say no texting in class. That's on Wednesday. And then on Friday, our interview with Lisa L. Don't forget that. And that's Give Me a Break for right now. Join all of us on YouTube next time for another edition of Give Me a Break. Good night.